tends to play his best snooker when he's playing the bigger names. Just lost the cue ball a touch. He didn't want it so close to the cushion. The ideal red was the red above the black into the left corner pocket, but he won't be able to play for that one now. He has to play for the one on the cushion. Now, unless he's got an angle to get the other side of the black in the opposite pocket.
30.
It's just about perfect.
Marco through 30.
Yes, with these top pockets, there's a margin for error if you hit the far jaw, but if you make contact with the near jaw, you've got no chance. Well, with the red over the pocket, you might see Higgins take the opportunity to power the cue ball into the pack. Nothing really to lose there. Unfortunate to drop where he has.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to have to play a very good shot here. Still on. You can either drop this in or power it in. If he powers it in, the cue ball should reverse its spin, which kills its pace. Not quite. Touch it back. Not enough. What we call the scientific phrase, the banana shot.
Well, he slipped on a few banana skins this season, John Higgins, that's for certain.
Phil, come on.
Just looking down his results, he was beaten in the final of the Regal Masters. No disgrace there, losing to Ronnie O'Sullivan. Beaten in the last 16 of the LG Cup, 5-1 by Chris Small, who played very good snooker that day. Lost 5-2 to Ian McCulloch, not a very well-known professional from Preston, in the quarterfinals of the British Open. 9-6 to Ken Doherty in the quarters of the UK Championship, and he lost to a player from Finland, Robin Hull, in the Regal Welsh. Higgins has set such high standards of consistency over the last 7 or 8 years. When he does go out early in a tournament, it's always a shock. Doesn't inspire the hoopla of players like O'Sullivan, Hendry, certainly in the 80s Davis, but he's won 15 world ranking events, 3rd on the all-time list.
A very good partner. The cue ball very nearly went into the centre pocket, would be desperately unlucky. Clinical.
Through 6.
Wow. This is the second good chance. He's just having this opening frame. You'd expect him to score a few for this one. John mentioned in his interview that the problem is just confidence. That's why he hasn't been winning. But the trouble is, that's the only place where you really get genuine confidence is by winning. So many times I've listened to players tell me that they're feeling great and they're playing so well in practice and they're so confident. But you can see how frail that is as soon as they get into a match if they haven't been winning in tournaments. Because the slightest problem that appears, or if they go a couple of frames down, it soon evaporates. They stop going for the shots, they miss the crucial balls. It's purely because they haven't won for a while. Talking about John Higgins and making it through to the playoffs, he has to win today. But his final match, Phil, was up against Ronnie O'Sullivan.
16.
Yes, and of course it might be assumed that having already qualified for the semi-finals, O'Sullivan might just take his foot off the pedal. No chance of that, in fact, because this year, for the first time,
23.
£500 per frame is being awarded in the qualifying stage. So O'Sullivan will be looking for an 8-0 victory. That's the target, £4,000 in the bank. No sentiment to any of his opponents.
What do you charge a frame, Phil?
29.
Well, I was going to ask you the same question, actually, Mark. A Ronnie O'Sullivan Tenny Drago frame, you know, 50 pence, but I suppose if Cliff Thorburn's playing Terry Griffiths, I might get the odd fiver here and there. Oh, that's a bad miss.
John Higgins, 29.
If you're just looking to see whether the red has passed the pink into the centre pocket, if it does, there's a frame winning chance.
Well, this is third and best opportunity to take the first frame away. If he doesn't convert this one, every right to kick himself all the way back to Hong Kong.
7.
Well, that would hurt.
8. $15.
Sensibly there, playing for the blue. Much easier positional shot from blue to yellow. Now just yellow and green needed.
21. $23. 26. 30. 35. 41.
Not go through in this two pot he should have knocked in. In the end though, it didn't matter. He draws first blood. Will John Higgins struggle again today? We'll find out in the next
Second frame. Second frame. John Higgins to the break.
The task for Higgins at the start of frame 2 is to tighten up, not make the kind of unforced errors that ultimately cost him frame 1.
Three. Four.
When these two met in the Premier League of 2001, it was Higgins who ran out a 6-2 winner.
Four.
And I was just about to say that things have changed because 2 is on, Fu is playing a lot more effectively. That though was an awful miss.
One.
Now that's the kind of thing that happens when things aren't going your way.
Six.
Cue ball went into the pack at a fair speed, and he's dropped on absolutely nothing at all.
John Higgins, six.
Well, okay. Not great, however. One good pot here from Higgins. That was a lovely shot.
You should just get the feeling with John Higgins that if he could put together a couple of big breaks and reinstill some of that lost confidence, he'll go a long way to solving problems. But that's the kind of thing that he's been doing this season that he never used to.
Eight.
Those slack shots.
Special ball.
Yeah, you're right, Phil. It was like there's no reason to be anywhere near there. He just had to roll the black in. He's guaranteed the red into the right corner pocket. But it's what tends to happen if your confidence isn't 100%. Usually your concentration isn't 100%. He may have a red into the centre pocket. If he has, it's a bonus.
John Higgins, eight.
sure that Marco can't quite believe what's happened so far in the early stages. Asia's leading Cuban has committed a number of mistakes, and yet every time he finds himself back at the table relatively quickly.
And you know what that does? That increases his confidence. It knocks Higgins' confidence slightly more. Higgins has to sit in his chair watching more. Fu just carries on his way, gaining more table time, scoring more points.
8.
I suppose it'd be fair to say that Fu is in with a fairly good chance of qualifying for the playoffs. He's got this match and then 2 after against Ebden and White.
Marco through 14.
Well, we're thinking that this year 5 strokes 6 points is going to get you in.
Two.
I think we might ask for the referee to clean the balls there. Yes, indeed. I detected a kick on the blue.
7.
Not the most clean of contacts. That's why he's short on this red. Only just though.
8. $14. 15. 22. 23.
Maybe just the right and black is causing him a few problems. That's why he's forced to take the pink.
$30. 36.
He's missed a couple of pods quite similar to this already.
37.
One in the first frame cutting back. That one though, right into the heart of the pocket, and from here he should win the frame. Almost certain now, just this red needed.
42. 43. 48. 49. 56. 58. 61. 65. 70. 76.
As far as John Higgins is concerned, just what the doctor ordered. Through Mr. Easy Red, Higgins pounced. That's why the Scot and the man from Hong Kong find themselves on level terms. Yes, if professional snooker were like a school, I'm sure that Marco Fu would now be writing out 100 lines. I must not miss easy reds.
Yeah, if you miss an easy shot, you've got no excuses, have you? It's when you lose a match and you haven't had a chance or you didn't get the run, that's what's frustrating. But if you're missing easy pots and you lose frames and you lose matches, you know exactly what the problem is and why you've lost. At the top level of this sport, you just don't expect to miss a shot like that.
Right.
Higgins looked very good in that last frame.
Yes, the point is, Mark, Higgins had made a faltering start.
5.
When you've got them down, you've got to keep them. Fu didn't do that, and I just wonder whether the pendulum has swung. Because Higgins is the kind of player, when he gets on a roll, he's extremely difficult to stop.
Well, that was a bonus. I don't think he played for that red. But just watching his body language, as he came down the table, he hadn't initially spotted it. But it's always nice when that happens, when a red appears from nowhere. One good pot here on the blue. Well, he just forced it into the wrong side of the pocket. That's why he's lost the cue ball. It wasn't the cleanest of pots.
11.
It's a tough shot.
That one though, as sweet as the proverbial nut, now a great chance to build another meaningful break.
Nineteen. 20.
Well, that could have been better.
27.
Oh no, maybe the red does pass the pink. I didn't think it went into that centre pocket, but no problems.
28. $33. $34. $40. $41. $46. $47.
Good split here, and the frame could be won in a single scoring visit.
Yeah, he had a touch too much angle.
John Higgins, 47.
And he was really concerned about holding. You see, he made too thick a contact on the black and still ran out of position. So even if he had made the pot into the pocket, he probably sent the cue ball up the table and definitely would have landed on the red. It was a poor positional shot before on the red to leave him at a cute angle on the black, which caused him the problems. A let off a foo that.
He's only 27, John Higgins, but already vastly experienced. He's appeared in 39 professional tournament finals and captured 24 titles. All adds up to over £3.3 million in prize money. That said though, Higgins' last win in a world ranking event was October 2000, the British Open. A drought of 16 months for him is an awfully long time. 2001 of course, yes, but it is 16 months.
Well, no wonder his confidence is low. You get the top players, all they think about are winning tournaments, not winning matches. Obviously, you take it if you work your way back, you take it one ball at a time, one frame at a time, one match at a time. But ultimately, their only concern is in winning tournaments. That's how they judge their success. And obviously, John Higgins will be thinking to himself, I haven't been successful lately.
red available to the middle pocket. This should be the coup de grace as far as frame 3 is concerned.
One. Six. Seven. 14. 15. 22. 23. 29. 29 on the frame, John Higgins.
Knowledgeable crowd here at the pavilion in Flint, giving a round of applause to what was an inch perfect break. Doesn't seem a lot of an advantage to have the break, but when you can place your opponent in trouble immediately, of course it is.
You're actually getting a free shot, aren't you? When you think about it. A lot of players take the break for granted, but honestly, it can dictate which way a frame goes.
Higgins just took a cautionary look to see whether he could get past the blue to the red closest to this bottom left hand pocket as we look. No path available. So the safety exchange continuing. And playing safe with John Higgins is rather like trying to out-jab Muhammad Ali. You just have to be at your very sharpest to stand any chance at all.
Good part, and he's got both counts of the shot right, unfortunately, for Higgins.
Yellow. Foul. John Higgins 1, Marco through 4, free ball.
Wow, it's so easy to do. Frustrating though.
That's the worst. second or so in a professional snooker player's life when he sees the cue ball going up to a ball colour and he suddenly realises there's not enough juice to reach. He knows he's going to be involved in a self-imposed snooker. The worst time. There was never any danger that Higgins was going to miss the reds there. The big problem though was leaving them safe, and he hasn't done so. 3 or 4 choices. The red to the right middle being an overwhelming favourite.
Terrible contact.
What?
Killed all the pace in the cue ball.
Six. Seven.
However, they would dearly love to see the black in the open. Especially with the pink being so awkwardly placed as well now.
Thirteen. $14.
Yeah, you look at the situation, it looks fairly straightforward, but it isn't. He's got a couple of loose reds available, but they're not easy to fall on. He's got a good angle here to go into the 3 or 4 reds around the pink and try and disturb the pink. He's played that very nicely. Ideally though, he wants to try and clear those 2 reds
19.
around the pink spot. That'll be his next target. Because obviously if he pots the pink is back on his spot once he is out of commission.
$20.
Right, not a great shot. Okay, he's got a red on into this corner pocket, but it's certainly more difficult than you would have liked.
Yes, especially at that pace. Had to play the shot forcibly. That screw the cue ball back for the blue. As did Higgins. What's more, the black is now in the open. Marco Fu, fill your boots.
One. Eight. Nine. $14. $15.
Well, it's just about okay. Hasn't got much of an angle, but you can certainly force the cue ball across the table, a touch aside. I'm used to going.
20. $21.
Well, the good folk here in Flint are certainly getting their money's worth in terms of tight matches. This is the fourth game played
29.
at the Pavilion. In the first one, it was 4 each between Steve Davis and the man at the table, Marco Fu. 2-all at the interval. In the second match, Ronnie O'Sullivan forged back from 3-0 down to beat Mark Williams 5-3. In the third, Ebden beat Davis 5-3 after the scores had been tied at 2-all and 3-all. And now at the mid-session interval in this one, another deadlock.
$44. 45. $52. Marco through 52 on the front.
John Higgins has played some encouraging snooker at times. He's also made some bad mistakes. A microcosm of his season so far, you would say.
Just one more frame required then by John Higgins as he breaks off in frame 6 for one very valuable point. But he's got to go a little bit further than winning one more frame. For him, really, winning two is the only path that he can be reasonably certain of qualifying with. So, depends on other results. But 6 has got to be the target benchmark for these players, equivalent to 3 wins or 6 draws, if you like. Marco Fu, with 2 more matches to play after this, has already got 3 points, so a point here would be invaluable as far as his interests are concerned. And he'd have to take 2 points from the next 2 games as a target, we'll say.
4. Five. Ten.
Well, as ever, the key shot is going to be trying to disturb the Reds. He's got an angle that's not the angle that he really would have liked. They just play for this loose red first of all. And now for this red, we'll try and create a better angle on the blue.
16. Seventeen.
Well, slightly underhit first time, overhit the second time, now he's got problems. Realistically, the only ball he can really split the Reds off the brown. This is a big shot, 2 cushions into the left-hand side of the pack. Well, I think he deserved better than that. Wasn't easy.
Through 21. Foul and a miss. John Higgins 4.
Do you think a lot of players go into the first shot and use it as the sized up shot for the second shot? In other words, he knows that he's got to go 2 or 3 inches up on the cushion in order to make contact now.
Yeah, you're exactly right. On the side of caution, don't you, then work your way down.
Not too bothered about the 4 points. It's more important not to leave anything on afterwards, so that's the way a lot of them play it now. Should get it this time. Or was it going to the pack? Yeah, going to the pack. Touching ball. He'll try and get behind that brown, I think, if he can sort an angle out. He doesn't have to play a red. He's deemed to be touching. So 1, 2, 3, 4 cushions here to try and get behind the brown. Well, not too bad. Should have done with that being harder. It's strikeable here, and it's a free pot.
You know, we've been talking about Higgins, great shot referee too, but Higgins needs to win a tournament to regain his confidence. But so I think Fu needs to win a tournament soon, within the next year or 18 months, if he's to make that next step.
Six.
You look at the top boys and how they've progressed throughout their careers, and they've started off obviously at the bottom of the ladder, and then they've worked their way into the top 128, the top 64, 32, 16, won a couple of tournaments along the way, established themselves, if you like. Now Fu started off at a terrific pace, reached a final, has reached a semi-final, dropped down a little bit, now he's come his way back up, but he hasn't actually won a ranking event, and I think he needs to win one rather soon. Somebody's saying that though, Mark, it is incredibly difficult to win a title, isn't it?
No good asking me. I've never won one. Know what you mean, you're right. But even at the top level, guys have their down years, and I think relative to what he was performing before, I think that John Higgins has had a couple of relatively poor seasons, although he started last season very well, taking 3 early ranking tournaments. Terrific start, but fell away towards the end. But you've got to remember that Peter Ebdon had got into the teens in the rankings when he won the World Championship. It slipped down to, I think it was 13. So, and he had been winning before then, so things go up and down, and it's very difficult to maintain top standards all the time. I don't believe it's possible, actually. I don't believe straight line graphs exist.
Yeah, that is an incredible shot. Did he actually go for that? Was he just intending to put the cue ball on the cushion? Because there was actually no value in taking that pot on, and if he'd have missed it, he was guaranteed to leave the simple red for Higgins. I'm not so sure about that one.
No, didn't make any sense at all to me either, Mark. So, but he got it in, and the shot by John Higgins is a little cracker. He's opened up the reds in response and gone snooker behind the black. Now that was a fantastic shot from Higgins. Deliberately opened the reds up. Can Marco Fu see this pot into the corner pocket? Got a kick there.
He was very unlucky. That was a terrible kick. He was intending just to leave the cue ball in the jaws of the pocket. Yeah, you see the bed. You see the red jump off the bed, takes all the pace out of the cue ball.
One. Eight. Nine.
Well, there's every chance here of taking a 4-2 lead.
16. 17. 24.
Now you remember the shot that he played, which forced the error from Marco Fu. It was the half ball safety shot of a packet of reds out in the middle of the table, and he found the position absolutely plumb behind the brown, which forced the error. Now, you may recall Marco Fu taking that red on, which surprised both of the commentators, and he went down and played a rather easy and very quick, perhaps not too well thought out safety shot in the corner there, whereas he might have stopped and think, well, there's a half ball chance of getting behind the brown here and splitting the reds, because it did look like that.
We'll be careful here. Well, he nearly came and stuck a couple of shots ago,
32.
landing behind a red. Well, may just about be okay, but he's certainly pushing his luck. No, he wasn't.
John Higgins, 32.
It's a massive let off.
He was having to play that with a lot of side to try to create the angle. He couldn't see enough off the red. And after all that, John Higgins is actually only 8 points in front.
Michael Stewart, 1.
Oh. That's a dreadful mistake on the two reds, and he stuck the black near the pocket.
One. Six. Seven. Fourteen.
Well, he's been slightly gifted this, isn't he?
15.
Still got to get this last red, although he's got an angle to just force it through behind the red, between red and cushion. I think that's what he'll try to do.
$22.
Yeah, that's a good shot. Not quite straight. Well, that's the one that counts. It doesn't matter that he's not on the colour, or an easy colour. He's 30 points in the lead, and there are only 27 on the table.
John Higgins,
He felt the shot, a wide shot as well. It wasn't worth the risk of taking the black on. It was a difficult part, and if you'd have missed it, there was an easy opportunity for snooker for Marco Fu.
Foul. Frame conceded. John Higgins 4 on the frame.
Well, frame conceded by Marco Fu. He's at the table. And it's John Higgins then. He gets a couple of chances. He rather missed the first one, but he was offered the second one and took that with that. So Marco Fu requires 2 frames. John Higgins would love to win just 1 if necessary.
Foul. Marco Fu 4.
Doesn't actually look too bad. Now that is a wonderful piece of cueing. Textbook stuff there from Marco Fu. Has he got enough pace in the cue ball here? Just about passes the blue.
6.
Still, he's got the choice here. He could try and free the black. The trouble is, it's just a risky shot to play. There's no guarantee of landing on the black.
Seven. Marco Fu 7.
Well, was successful with a similar shot in the other pocket, in the left-hand pocket, not that time. But it could have been worse. Higgins has got the red to the left corner, but with the cue ball fairly close to the cushion, it's a real test to cue in this.
One.
That's all the flying colours.
Seven. 13.
Well, I wonder if he'll concentrate on the pink now. Save him going up for the blue.
$14. $20. $21. $27. $28.
Well, this is where the difficult work begins. I've got a couple of choices here. Could just play for the loose red. Well, he's got the angle if he wants to try and cannon into them. So he's just going to tidy things up first.
$32. John Higgins, 32.
Well, I should have tidied things up first. That was a surprising miss. You can see he's finding it hard work out there.
Wow, and a miss. That will through 4.
Yeah, that was a very good shot actually. The pot was fairly straightforward, but just making sure he avoided the centre pocket with the cue ball was very impressive.
$6.
Well, this looks interesting. Can't tell whether the black will pot into the right corner pocket, because though it may.
$7.
But having played the shot like that, I think probably it won't go, because it could easily have got the cue ball in good potting line with it. So, back down the table with the green. Oh, that's the last place it wanted to land.
10.
Just came down that little bit too far, so he's going to have to play safe, and he was in with a good chance then to develop a good position from there.
Marco through 10.
Jaws. Little jaws. Cue ball catching those knuckles on its route down to the balk end have cost most players.
1.
Takes the white, sometimes knocks the white back amongst the reds, but certainly brings it out into the middle of the table as it did then. But the players know the jaws are there, so they've got to make sure they don't get near them.
Big chance this, isn't it? He really should win the frame from here. 2 points ahead. There's the black to follow up and make it 9. Just tidy up those loose reds, and that would leave John Higgins needing snookers. You just have to think about it. So it looks fairly straightforward. Maybe he hasn't got the perfect angle to get on the red. Well, that for me is just concentration.
Marco through 9.
I don't think he was actually ready to play the shot.
Yes, Mr. Fewey's shots over the last couple of frames, Marco. Maybe he was concentrating on trying to get that red off and away from the cushion and where the cue ball was going, but whatever. That was a mighty, mighty important ball to miss. Because the emphasis really would have changed dramatically if he could have, well, he's still got a chance of course, if he could take this frame, because he then would be in sight of a valuable point which makes him a strong candidate really to make the qualifying stages. But it would also put John Higgins under an awful lot of pressure, because suddenly, instead of having the 2 points that he needs, he might see himself as playing in a frame which will push him out of the qualifying prospects. Rather betwixt and between pink and black.
John Higgins 12.
Well, I think this red will cut into the corner pocket as well.
Yeah, it's got to be worth a go. Just where will the cue ball finish?
Hey Marco, you're living dangerously. And I don't think yellow will go past the brown, so screwing back maybe, or using the cushion. It must get to the left of the yellow as you see it. That's a good shot. Now, you can't let this chance slip away.
8.
Where is it going to go? Behind the brown and off the side cushion? Or direct one cushion? Yeah.
10.
So
13.
all he's got to do is get from brown to blue.
Seventeen. 22.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. Both players missed opportunities there to win. In the end, Marco had a few opportunities, managed to shut them off, the missed ones, and then in the end converted the final chance that we've just seen him take on board. So he's still in the game. This match very much alive still.
Back here in Flint, this is the 8th and final frame. Fu has to win to get a point. Higgins took an early lead, but it's Fu at the table.
$14. 15. 20.
Right, the level at 20 all, so it's all profit from here.
21.
I suppose looking at the table, he's going to be doing well actually to win it in one visit. Depending on how he sees it. If you look now, he's eight points ahead. Now there's 4 obvious reds, and let's just say that he took blacks for those. That would make him 40 ahead. But the 2 difficult reds on the side cushion, so he's going to probably take a blue in between. So let's just say he's going to be something like 36, 37 ahead,
29.
with the 2 reds left on that side cushion. That's going to be the key stage of this frame.
$34. 35. 40.
'He's just checking the scoreboard now, working out what he needs to clinch the frame and this visit. One thing's for sure, he's going to need a couple of good pops.
41.
Now, can he work this little cannon out on the red, just behind it? Double kissing it, and it's worked out beautiful.
I'm not so sure whether he can see this.
48.
No, he didn't look as though he can. Well, that's a bit unlucky. He played an excellent shot.
Well, he's playing at the loser side. Cue ball.
Nearly.
Marco
Not
through
bad finish.
48.
Not bad finish, and Margaret's favourite to win this frame and to make the tie. 28 points in front. Marco Fu still needs 2 of these last 3 reds. Well, that pocket's taken some prisoners in this match.
One.
I think he considered the attacking option of play the black and try and disturb the pink and red, but at this stage he needs points. He needs to try and guarantee himself points. So he's taking the easier blue.
Six. John Higgins 6.
Oh, not a very good shot. 22 points in it. This red. And any colour above the brown. If you pop the red. No, he's left it on. Now this is a real chance for John Higgins. Oh dear, long way out. Oh, that's a great shot. 23 points in it. That's a great shot. Could have had an accident with that one.
Well, he paid for it.
4.
Is he still going to take it on with this much angle? 26 ahead, 35 on the table. Would basically turn out to be game ball if he knocks it in. In effect, Matt, this would knock John Higgins out of the competition.
Oh, not yet though.
4.
Not yet. Very, very tough shot. It was always overcut. So John Higgins needs to take all of these colours.
Three. 8. Well,
Well, the red ball that he missed might have cost Marco Fu the frame, and indeed one very, very valuable point. Frame unmatched. John Higgins perhaps may find the same type of challenge when he takes on the pink after he's spotted the blue.
$17.
I can't believe he's going to go for this. He's looking at it, and the way he's played it would suggest that he is.
John Higgins,
Oh
17.
dear. Well, I'm sure this cuts well. That will be the end. So, two balls next to the cushion have really played an important part in this last frame, this vital last frame. Marco Fu needs just the pink, which looks a simple cut. After missing a red on the other side of the table. Oh, it's just gone in. Marco Fu must be very, very relieved, and John Higgins must be very, very disappointed.